I recently went to Amsterdam to an Abraham Hicks workshop. I met a lot of great, fantastic and loving people. Some of us made it to the hot seat. Here you can see a casual conversation and meetup of some of us hot-seaters. Thank you so much to Andrea from the Andrea Roman YouTube channel for arranging this and for letting me share it with you guys on my channel as well. Andrea makes a lot of great content. Please show her some love and subscribe to her channel. The link is in the description. Now enjoy our co-creation.
Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you very much for your acceptance of my invitation for today's online meeting. And it's really nice to see your faces again after, for me, this was my first Abraham workshop, and it was such a nice surprise to meet such lovely people. And today it's like I remember that day, and so it's just perfect. So the first question that I wanted to ask you is if this seminar, was it your first seminar? Let's start with Andy, because you are the first on my screen.
Okay, yeah, this was my 5th workshop.
Wow.
The first one was in 2013. So the first one I went to was Denver. The second one was Albuquerque, where I live. The third one was Stamford, Connecticut, near New York City. And the fourth one was San Antonio in 2016. And that was the last one I went to. And that one, I did get called up into the hot seat.
Wow. And how come you live so far away and you came to Amsterdam? How come?
Because I'm a huge Abraham fan, and they hadn't been doing any in-person workshops except for the cruises until Amsterdam. And I've always wanted to travel to Europe, which I'd never done before. I always put a condition on it that I wanted to go with someone, and I got rid of that condition. And I'm going to be in Europe for like an entire month.
Wow, that's...
And I wanted to meet a lot of people, which I was very successful at doing. And now we're having like a Zoom meeting, so yes.
Wow.
So great.
That's perfect.
I don't want to take over in any way, but it would be really interesting to hear like where everyone is from.
Right.
Okay.
Like I said, I live in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I've lived at some other places in the States though, but I was born in New Mexico as well.
It's really interesting.
Nice. Kent, where are you from?
I'm from Denmark.
Oh, you're from Denmark.
I'm from Denmark. So,
Risaria?
Yeah. Pardon?
Risaria,
No.
Where are you from?
Okay, sorry. Yes?
I'm from England. I'm in the UK.
From England. Yeah, from the UK. Alice?
I'm from the Netherlands. So it was a,
perfect.
How do you say that? A home match.
That was perfect for you.
Yes.
And for us too.
I could come by car.
Right.
Yep.
Katarina?
Yeah. I'm from Finland, from up north. Yeah. Interesting, everyone's from different countries.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So nice. Jan?
Germany, of course.
Of course.
Which part of Germany are you from?
Originally from North Rhine-Westphalia, and I moved around a couple of times, and I left the country. Also lived in Bavaria, which is like the very heart of the German culture, and now I'm in Berlin, which is like very openly culture-wise. Yes.
Right. Okay, so we can continue with...
Where are you from, Andrea?
Oh, I'm from Romania, sorry.
Okay, maybe...
All different
I missed
countries.
that.
It's so
Maybe
nice.
you said that.
I forgot about myself because I was trying to see if everybody answered. I just making sure that nobody's left out.
But
You
everyone
are
is
a
from
hot,
I was
different
left
country.
out.
Yeah.
you are a hot seater
Yeah.
today.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay, so who's next for Kent? You are the next for the first question of, is this your first workshop?
It was my first workshop, yeah. My first where I met them in real life, you can say. So I've been following Abraham for I don't know how many years, but since about 2006 or something. Since the first The Secret movie came out with Abraham joining. So I was introduced to Abraham at that time, and I was completely hooked, and I vibrated so much with them, and yeah, I used it very much in my life. I've been using it very much since that time in my life, and it has really made a huge difference to me. So I can say that it totally works. All the principles, they work so nicely. So that's a good thing.
Right. I agree completely with everything that you just said.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, I mean, this was my first workshop. I feel just exactly like you. So I can identify myself with you. Okay, let's go
Great.
to the next, Rizaria. Was this the first? I mean, I think you were not in the hot seat, but you were invited to this meeting, right?
Yes, yes. And I thought it may be a mistake, but it feels good. And I felt
No. It's not. It's not
Anything
a
that
mistake
feels
because
good is not a mistake.
yeah.
I make it.
Yeah, and I felt that I was so close to the hot seaters because I ended up staying with Max Folke at the at his place, which was just 5 minutes walk away, and he'd been the hot seater who attracted Abraham to Amsterdam in the first place.
Okay, yeah, and you are next. Please tell us, was this your first seminar?
Yes, my first seminar, and obviously I was the first. So it was a lucky moment as I saw you arriving second. Yes. We had this wonderful
yes,
moment.
I remember.
Yes. Please tell. How was it for you? I mean, you came with camera, and I was sitting there like.
and I disturb your meditation, right?
No, you're just fine. You're just fine. It was perfect.
It's just so nice to remember back. I mean, we spent so many hours in front of the venue.
Oh, yes.
But we had such wonderful time. Really, I wouldn't change anything. It was just perfect.
Same.
Really.
Okay, Alice, tell us.
Well, it was my first seminar. I've watched a lot of them on YouTube, and my coach I think in 2017 introduced me to Hicks by sharing 2 videos of some older programs, some older workshops that she did in the States. And I watched them, and then I wanted more, and I thought, well, maybe there's something on YouTube. And then I found this world of recordings, and I haven't stopped watching them since. I mean, I daily, it's a daily thing for me. Whenever I have a moment, or I have like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or I go for a walk, I always listen to at least one discussion. And usually what I find really wonderful is that if you're concerned about something, or you have this one topic that you're interested in, then it's always as if you're heard, and then you always get something in the message that you think, relief. So that's really,
right.
Yeah, that's really lovely.
sometimes you always attract the answer to the question that you have.
Yes.
And
yeah,
the perfect
seems
video
like it.
shows up.
Because I've signed in on a few channels that have that show these videos, different ones. I've several of them from other people, a lot of them, but they yeah. So I have this flow. So I open YouTube and I scroll down, and usually the first one up is the one that I need. So it's works really well for me. I really love it. But I love to be in the
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you. And Katarina, you are next.
So yeah, this was my first time attending any kind of event with them, Abster, or whatever you want to call them.
Abrahamsters.
Yeah, exactly. Hamsters,
Yes.
sure. And also my first time in the hot seat, obviously. And I've been listening to them for a little bit over a year only, but every day. So yeah, and my life really has transformed. Yeah.
Oh, you were really fast then, because it took me more than 10 years.
But they are so
of course,
good.
I understood everything, but probably because my language is not English, and it's not even close to English. The first 2 years were really difficult, and I understood some parts of it, but I guess my English improved, and I understood more, and then I started to apply, and then everything just piece by piece, it just came together, and it's my life is different now. Okay, Max, you are next.
My story with Abraham Hicks, I know that the first part of the story, it's on YouTube, because Andrea made a cartoon out of my interaction with Abraham Hicks. So you can find it on YouTube, and the title of the video is Strong Desires Always Come True. If you write that, and it will appear the cartoon with my voice and her voice, the Abraham Hicks voice. And so my story was that I was 6-7 years ago, I start to listen because, well, I've been practicing meditation for 40 years. I've been into spiritual kind of transformation for many years, on and off. But I was looking that day for some music, because I love music. And I was a dancer some time ago. And so I was looking for some music, and then I happened to find Abraham Hicks, a video, very old video, but what's her name? Esther was quite different. She was about 40 years old or something like that. And they were with Esther and Jerry. And then I heard this talk. And then in the first part, I don't know, I liked it, but it was a bit like she explained to me on the hot seat in 2019 that I was not yet connected, and then I dismissed it. I said, "Oh, okay, this is something airy-fairy for desperate wives, housewives, and they have nothing to do. They listen to this," and so I dismissed it. But then again, months and months later, I was looking again for some ethnical music, and I found Abraham Hicks on YouTube. So this time I started listening, and then from that moment I got hooked. I said, "But that's exactly what my heart is saying. It sounds really logical. It sounds really logical. Wow, it's fantastic. I wanna go deeper into that." So I started listening and listening and listening. And then I inspired a couple of people, 3 people actually, to follow on YouTube, Abraham Hicks. So I said, wow, very beautiful. And then I decided that I wanted to be in person in front of Abraham Hicks, or at least in the same hall. So I said, I wrote a letter to Abraham Hicks publication, and I asked if Abraham was coming either to Netherlands, because I live here, or to Italy, because I go to Italy sometimes. I have children there, or to Spain. I also have my youngest daughter who lives in Spain. So I said, if any chance that Abraham gives a workshop in one of these 3 countries. And I got the reply from Abraham Hicks publication about a week later, saying, no, sir, we don't think so. There is nothing planned for Europe. Esther is working a lot here in the States. So, okay, we will let you know if something changes. Okay, thank you. I was a bit disappointed, but then I said, okay, let's continue with YouTube. And then one day, after maybe a month or something, I received an email. Actually, I received a message from one of these friends that I was inspiring to listen more and more to Abraham Hicks. And he said to me, Max, you better check your email. I said, why? Well, check your email. Maybe there is a surprise for you. Well, okay, I checked my email, and then it was Abraham Hicks in Amsterdam. I was like, oh, oops, oh, wow. I live in Amsterdam. And I live actually 5 minutes from the venue, really. It's a nice, I walk past by the gas tank every day for my daily walk, because I used to work in a little farm. They have animals, children, and I was used to work there. So I pass in front of this gas tank every day. So, and then I was completely amazed, not only in Amsterdam, but also 5 minutes walk from my home. That was incredible. Then at that point, though, I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to inscribe, but I remember that I had a little job. So I went to my employer and I said to her, could you pay me in advance? Maybe 2 or 3 months, and then she said, of course, it's no problem. Actually, she said to me, I have my credit card with me. We can go to your place, to your computer, and we can book right away. Oh, wow. Okay. So that's what we did. So in about half an hour, I was inscribed to the seminar, to the workshop. That was in 2019. Wow. 2019. So, and then I remember I couldn't find a good seat. I was in the end of the hall almost. And then Esther was always looking on the left side or the other way, but I was sitting on the other side. So, and every time she was looking for somebody to call on the hot seat, I was raising my hand, and nothing happened. At the end of the first day, I think, I was the last one on the first day. So I raised my hand, and then she pointed straight at me. She finally turned on the other side of the hall, and she said, you. And then obviously I was so far that a lot of 2 or 3 people stood up before me, and then she said, no, sit down, you. And then my friend that was sitting close to me, he said to me, incredible, he's really pointing at you. Oh, okay. So I went on the hot seat from deep down, and then she said, yes. I said, I don't have any question. I just want to say thank you for what you are kind of helping me in my life. Is so much. So I just want to say thank you. Maybe I have one desire more than a question that I would like to fulfill, and it's not happening. So maybe that's all I can ask the universe. And then she said, look, I wasn't, you drag Esther from the States. It's a long flight. And then not only you drag Esther from the States in a long flight, you put her in a gas tank to talk. Then not only that, but you actually, if you look behind you, you see more than 2,000 people. So you drag 2,000 more people here in the gas tank, and you leave a 5 minutes walk from this place, Then not only that, you also told, she said, actually, you are so greedy. Then not only that, you said to your friends, I'm going to sit on the hot seat. And here you are sitting on the hot seat. So that's how powerful your creator. So
Exactly.
what do you think about the next desire? And then I said, maybe it should be fulfilled. And then she said, yeah, get out of here. And she sent me away from the hot seat. And I was crying, I was laughing, and I was totally blissed out. I don't know if you know that term, but it means that I was completely almost out of a body experience. And then there was, my desire was actually to find a soulmate, to find again a lover, a person that I could love and she could love me. And then before I got out of the stage, there was a queue of ladies. So my friend close to me said, Max, now you have a choice. I mean, look at how many ladies you have here. And so I started laughing and crying. It was incredible. So it was after that. That was in 2019.
Yeah, okay, so you are the man that are easily responsible that Esther likes to come to Amsterdam regularly, and we appreciate you so much, and we appreciate that you had the desire to do this, and it manifested, and we can all benefit from this. And I think this is great.
But
okay, Dina, see.
The most
Sorry to interrupt you. We
Yes.
will get back to you because we still have a lot of questions to answer, and we will
Okay.
get back to this
Yeah.
topic of manifestation and what happened to us after the seminar, and we can talk a lot more about this. But let's finish the first question because Dina joined us in a while. Hi, Dina. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. I did join you. I didn't realize that I was on track. Holiday time.
No problem. So the first question was about whether this is the first seminar or not. I mean, we know that this is not your first seminar. So just tell us.
Where are you from?
So this was, sorry?
Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Portugal. So I was born and raised in Portugal, but I live in UK. This is my third in-person seminar, but I also do the live Abraham now. So this is my fourth hot seat experience overall.
You're a good creator.
I know, I got this.
Very good creator.
I know how to get
Yeah, you do.
You are the person who's been the most in the hot seat from all of us.
Really?
Yeah.
Yay! Come on, guys, join me. That's it. We have to keep going. And now that you know how the hot seat feels, just keep going to that memory of how we felt to be chosen. And every time, boom!
It's very comfy.
Actually, I did notice that a lot of people, a lot of people who were already in the hot seat, they tend to do it again and again because it's their expectation, it's their intention to be in the hot seat.
Actually, Abraham talked about this, which is every time, sorry, can you move that, baby? So every time that you get into the hot seat, it's like winning the jackpot. The feeling before is the indication, like that feeling like it's me. that feeling when you, oh, I got goosebumps, like that feeling, that memory, if you can access it, it puts you right back in that same vibration, and then you get picked. And I was like,
This was supposed to be my next question. I was supposed to ask you that, could you identify what did you feel before you were called? And so was there anything that you could identify as different, or I don't know, maybe more intense or a powerful, I don't know, release of resistance or anything that you felt like different? What was it?
So the very first time, there was a feeling of relief. There was something that I did that made me feel a sense of relief. And then I had this thing, I had told myself, and I told my inner being, that whenever I was close to being called onto the hot seat, that Abraham would look at me first, and that would be my sign. And right before I went, they chose the person next to me, and then they pointed at me and said, not yet. And I was like, yes! So that was my very first one. So I actually had an agreement with my inner being of the sign for me to know that that's it. That's when I was going to go. And when it happened, I had no doubt that it was going to happen. And of course, it put me right back. Second time, I went for a walk because I was like, I know I'm going to go on the hot seat. I was the last hot seat in Amsterdam last time in 2019. And I could feel that I was going to go. I knew that I was going to go, but there was still a bit of resistance. And I was not enjoying the conversations anymore. So I left. I went on a walk. I could tell you something else that I did that made me relief, like I went to the toilet. And once I came back, I felt like that little bit of relief was gone. And again, the guy before me spoke to Abraham, made Esther turn, and I saw them looking at me. I'm like, I'm going. And I did. And then this time they had already seen me, and I had already in my mind that I wanted to have a longer conversation with Abraham, where I would feel that they would talk to me more. And they saw me, and I saw they seeing me, and they made fun. It was like, what did they say? Like, bullying doesn't help or something like this. And I started laughing. It's like, Abraham. So yeah, so the more I go, the easier it feels, and the more like that eager anticipation of like, I know this feeling is coming. That's what feels like.
You were sitting next to me, and Jan was on the other side, and you were both in the hot seat, which is great. Jan, your story is interesting because you turned back twice. I mean, Abraham, chose you twice. And I think, Kent, you were in front of, you were before Jan in the hot seat, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Abraham called Jan and Kent at the same time. Kind of
that's right.
What
Yeah.
Dina was saying, like it was like not yet.
Exactly. You next, and then
Yes.
you.
Kent was the first one, the first day, right?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
I was
No.
Okay,
number
so let's
3 or 4
let's
or something.
continue.
I don't know.
Andy, let's continue with you then. Could you identify how did you feel before you were called in the hot seat?
Well, it's what I was asking about too. The first time I was called in 2016, before the workshop started, I was kind of scribbling notes on my notepad, and I got really nervous. And I thought, does this mean maybe I'm getting called up? Like I'm getting nervous beforehand, like premonition. And before I could think this thought, I switched it and changed it around. And I thought about people that go first, they say a lot, they knew they would be first. And I thought, I don't want to be first. Wait. I mean, going second or later would be great, be fine. And I got called second. And I was super nervous. I don't know. I can't remember much of what they said, but I have the recording. And this workshop, I don't think I really expected to be called up the first day at all. But the second day I was feeling very nervous again. And during the first section, before the first break, I felt like I did not want to get called up at the beginning because I kind of had to use the restroom. And I was just cool with it. I wasn't raising my hand. And I, like Dina just said, I swear they were looking right at me at this one point. And they weren't calling anyone up. Like there was this pause and they were kind of staring around. And I swear Abraham looked right at me and then they called someone else. And I remember thinking maybe in the second section, I was like, I want to be near the end or very last. And when that happened, I was very not surprised, I guess. But I was super exhilarated and all the mixed emotions I asked about, which was anxiousness, nervousness, excitement mixed with a little bit of fear. And that was kind of what the gist of what I was asking about as well. But I kind of did expect it in an almost anxious way.
Yeah,
And I knew that,
obviously,
and I knew they were
because-
calling me. I knew they were calling me, and I still sat there and I didn't stand up. I was like, really? I was so nervous to go up. I almost wanted to believe it was someone right behind me, but I knew it was me. And they said like where on the emotional scale is reluctancy, and I thought that was very funny.
Right.
But that's my answer.
Sorry, can I just add one thing? And this is something that I've
Please.
noticed every time I went on the hot seat. I have met most of the people or seen most of the people that went on the hot seat before or after they did. And I'm like, what is this? Like I saw Kent, you came to me.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. I met
before I
and
got,
Jan
yeah.
and Kent beforehand.
Yeah.
And I was
All
like,
of you.
oh, and the thing is now I'm like, whenever someone catches my eye, I'm like, I hope they're going in the hot seat too.
Yeah.
And then on day 2, right before it started, they were saving seats next to me, and guess who sat down next to me? Max.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
another person I met. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
Who's
Kent,
next?
Kent, you are the next. How did you
Okay.
feel before?
To be honest, I didn't have any expectations
Oh.
from when I left from home. I didn't expect to be called up, and I was a little bit unsure if I wanted to raise my hand because I just wanted to be in the moment. I just wanted to feel the energy of Abraham and to follow my bliss, you can say. But I was very much inspired by all the others, all you other hot seaters, and I thought, why not? So I raised my hand, and a few times, I don't know, 2 or 3 times or something, I thought it was me they were looking at, but as they were saying, when we point this way, there are a whole chunk of people that we are pointing at. So it's difficult to find out if it's you actually. So but 2 or 3 times or something, I thought that it was me they were pointing at, but it wasn't. But then they said, okay, it's you, and you next, and stuff like that. So
And then Jan came
Yeah. So,
he was waiting eagerly because he
mm,
was sent back twice
yeah, that's right.
almost.
So,
So
but
how
but
was it for you, Jan?
Oh, I had the great honor of giving Ken a high five on the way up. So
it was
I have the
so
picture.
great. That was so
I
great.
have the picture.
Yeah, I got it. I'm so happy that I got it. It's so nice.
it was
So,
amazing. I mean, starting from the moment I was sitting on the very door to the event, it was very clear that I was or would be called on the hot seat actually. So it was like very clear. It was just the amount of timing, and I thought like 2 times before, now's the time, but it wasn't yet. So it was just the right time, because I think I was the third person on the third session, and I like the 3. So yes.
synchronicity.
Excellent.
Nice.
Totally.
Yeah, I love number 3 too. Like that.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah.
great.
And I enjoyed
Perfect.
also the feelings of everybody going up there, because it was so intense right the moment they are called, and they enjoy pretty much the way to the hot seat as well.
Mm.
I very much feel and remember these feelings of all the persons as well. And for me, it was quite sure to go there. Somehow it was sure. Yeah. But
Next-
still, it
I
was
guess
amazing,
that's
of course.
Next logical step. It was
Exactly.
for me, no doubt. It felt like the next logical step for me. So, yeah.
awesome. Okay, Katarina, you are next. So how did it feel for you?
Yes, thank you. And I must say at this point that I need to leave after this question.
Okay.
I only have 1 hour
Okay.
reserved. Yes, but I kind of knew as soon as I got the tickets somehow, and it was like an interesting process for me, because right after I got the tickets, I don't know, maybe it was January or February, something like that, and I was traveling in another country, and then I just went to a store that I didn't recognize. I didn't know the store, and there were these shoes that had these golden buckles, and they were like very different. I never wear anything like that, and I'm like, I'm gonna wear these when I'm gonna go meet Abraham. And of course I had to buy them, and they're winter shoes. They even have like hair, what is it, fur inside the shoes, but of course I was wearing them. And the same way, like when I got the blouse, I'm like, I'm gonna wear this when I'm gonna meet Abraham. So like it was this process, and I had like zero doubt. I also had sent my question about the language to the Abraham Now, but it wasn't answered there. So I thought that, okay, this is where it's going to be answered. And when I meditate, I have quite strong, like these electric feelings kind of go through my body. So when Esther, allowed Abraham, I got really, really powerful feelings. And I had the same powerful feeling, like just here when I was raising my hand. So I was a little bit surprised that I was the third, not the first one. It didn't make any difference, but I just felt so strongly, like, it's now. So, and when I got picked, it was just really calm and peaceful, and just everything was really clear. I was just not worried about anything or nervous or anything. It was just like pure somehow, but it was really, really beautiful. Yeah. And it was exactly how it was supposed to go for me.
Actually, I felt something similar at the seminar. It's the way I feel when I meditate and when I am really focused, and I feel the energy moving, and I felt something very similar during the workshop, but the feeling was much more, I don't know, clean. It was clean, yeah, and obviously more powerful. So this was my takeaway. You know, even though I was not in the hot seat, which I completely understand why I wasn't, because probably my intention was not exactly to be in the hot seat, and I'm okay with that. So, but it was so intense that for me the entire event was so just perfect.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue with Alice. Tell us about how did you feel before you were picked?
Okay.
I was very confident that if I wanted to, that I would get into the hot seat. I don't know why, but that was a feeling that I had. And on the first day, I had like 2 questions that I would really like to raise, and I raised my hand a couple of times, but I was way in the back the first day. I came in too late, so I was really in the back of the room, and well, there were always a lot of other people lighting up before me. I think there was only one person from the back picked in the first day. So the next day I came really early before the doors opened. I was already in the queue. I was surprised actually that there was a queue, but and then the first hour I was really looking at the chair and visualizing myself sitting there and feeling myself sitting there. And then in the last session, the last hour, I raised my hand every time that I wasn't picked, but I also didn't feel like it was going to be me. And then when the last hour began, we were late because we had ordered the beer and it didn't come and it didn't come, so we were too late. So we actually came in halfway in the first one after the break, and we had just quickly drank the beer, and I sat there and I was like, well, I don't mind if I'm going to be picked or not, because actually most of the questions that I had, I think, were answered, apart from one, and I could make up the answer sort of. But then I just raised my hand, and I really felt, yeah, she looked at me, and there were like 4 people standing up before me, but I knew it was me. But I think I let go of the desire, which was maybe a little bit of lack. I let go, and I had just come back, just settled in my chair, and I was like, okay, I'll raise my hand. But I felt really grounded. I think that was, I think Abraham decides also what is still necessary from the group, and who would be best to have a discussion with Abraham, so that a lot of people feel that their desire is filled. I think that's how the order is picked. We don't really do that ourselves, I think, but I'm not sure. But it was.
Well, they explain that there is that you shine in a different way when you get picked, and it depends on how willing you are to allow their answer to your questions. How close, I mean, if you are in the vicinity of hearing the answer. So, well, I guess this is something what they see in everybody, in each and one of you who was.
But I was not
in
surprised, because I sort of knew. I had a very strong feeling that I was going to be in the hot seat. And then I think after the time that I sort of almost let go of the desire, but was okay anyway, and I was just enjoying it, and then I got picked. No.
But you let go of the resistance, not the
I
desire.
think there was some resistance still. Yeah.
Right. Okay, Max,
Yeah.
you kind of answered all of my questions as you came in.
No, but no, I didn't.
If you want, you can add. Sure, you can answer.
I
yes.
did know. Actually, there is something very, very important to me, for me to share with everybody, because in 2019, when I went, it was my first workshop, and it was obviously my first time on the hot seat. And I was crying, I was laughing, it was incredible. I really had a very strong intention to be called on the hot seat. I really wanted to talk to Abraham, even without asking any question, just to say thank you, maybe, just to be there, to be coached by them in person. And so I did. So I wasn't sure that he was going to call me, but my intention was very strong, very, very strong. This time, 3 years later, in 2022, the funny thing was that I start kind of crying, being emotional, for the first moment I got into the hall. And the reason why it's a very strong reason, because after the 2019 workshop, I had my best friend. She is a beautiful lady, beautiful inside, outside. She called me one day and she said, Max, I know how important it is for you to see and to talk and to be at the workshop with Abraham Hicks, the next one. So I did one thing, and I booked for both of us, because I also want to come with you to this workshop. And you talked to me so much about it, and I start listening to on YouTube. It's very beautiful. I wanted to be there. So I have money at the moment. Don't worry about it, because I already booked you in the next workshop. And I was like, what? It's like, okay, but I mean, I don't have the money. She said, I don't care. I have the money. So you will pay me €50 a month. I don't care. Okay, thank you. So I was very happy. And then, with the time passing by, and this beautiful friend, she got diagnosis with terminal cancer. So in October last year, she made her transition in the non-physical. And it was very shocking for me, because she was not my girlfriend, but we had a very special relationship. And I was completely shocked. So I managed to pay the workshop to her, half of it. And then, so when I came into this workshop, I was very, very, very touched inside. I was already feeling that I was coming there with her, that she was with me, and I would be sitting on the hot seat as a gift from the universe. I was feeling totally blissed out, not really in touch with my body, and just completely blissed out. So we found a beautiful seat together with Rizaria, and then we said there was on the third row, just in front of the hot seat. And then when after the first person on the first day was over, and then I even put a very red shirt, just to be as noticeable as possible, So, but I know it doesn't work. It doesn't matter. Because they look at the energy, they don't look at the clothes. But for me, I said, I want to be just shining inside, outside, in front of her. So I sat there and when she looked for a person, I immediately raised my hand. And as you know me, I have a long hand, a long arm. And then she looked straight in my eyes and she said, you. And then I was completely blown out, because I didn't think she would call me again in Amsterdam 2 years later. And then when she said, you, I look at her and I said, me? And then she said, yes, you. And so I came on the hot seat. And the funny thing that happened to me, that if you would have asked me right after, what did she say to you? I didn't remember a thing, nothing. I was completely in another dimension. In fact, when I was sitting on the hot seat, I remember only one little question. I said that the universe is sending me signs that I'm almost there, that I'm doing everything okay, but it's almost like I can almost touch what I want, but not really. And then she said something like, be patient, don't get into time. It's almost like confirm what I feel, time doesn't exist. And also be patient, and we love you. And that's all I remember. She talked a lot this time. Last time she said only a few things. It was very, very short. This time was longer, but I didn't remember anything. I was completely, and when I left the hot seat, I don't know. I don't remember anything that happened during even the evening. You know, I was like completely blown out. So my feeling was that this time when I entered in the hall, I was with this beautiful lady friend.
Hi, Katerina.
And
Hi,
then,
Katerina.
ciao, Katerina. And then I also was with my kids, with my children, and all with the people that I love. I was feeling full of love. That's my main experience in this workshop. Completely blown out and full of love. So much that I asked somebody to tell me right away when they are available, the recordings, because I don't remember anything, nothing at all. So that's
right. I can't wait for the recordings as well. Let's go to the next. Wait, my next question was about to be like, what was your question to Abraham? If there is anything that you would like to add regarding I don't know, maybe the answer that you received, and if it was helpful to you. But then I was thinking that maybe we should put this question together with the next one. That I was, since the seminar, I have been having a lot of changes in my life, and I was curious that, is this the same for you? Is this the same for you guys? Like, what happened since then? What changed? What happened, Andy?
If you remember what I was talking about, I was being very vague at the beginning because it was a personal question, and like I said, I was very nervous about being up there. And I asked about those emotions mixed together: anxiousness, nervousness, fear, and anxiety. And I was talking about Esther's house, and what I'm manifesting feels very much like that. Like, it's very perfectly tailored to what I'm desiring. And when they made me be specific, it's like, what's the topic? I was like, a lover. And like Max was just saying, I don't remember most of what they said. Like, the first time I was in the hot seat, I remembered nothing. But it was very affirming to like how I'm feeling. And there was something I was going to say, and they interrupted me because they're right. It wasn't what was going on in that moment. I was thinking about a very specific person, but if things are, the how is not up to me. And I really feel like I'm getting very good at milking this feeling that I was having the whole weekend. And if it's not this specific person that I'm thinking of, it's someone just as awesome that will manifest in a different way, from a different angle or something. And I did this before, being super excited about talking to someone, and I met someone else completely different from a different direction. But it was just very reaffirming to me that, like, I'm not overthinking things, and I'm going with my gut and my intuition instead of overthinking things and being very logical, which I can tend to be. And I could barely believe it that I was called up, but of course I believed it. that was something that I learned from a workshop from theirs a long time ago. It was like, it was previously unbelievable. And once I felt like I kind of got the answer, I got what I wanted to get out of that, even though I didn't know what that was at the time. There was all kinds of other things I kind of planned in my head of saying, thanking myself, meaning thanking them. And, but once I heard like, and I wonder what they actually said, I want to listen to the recording. Once I felt like, yeah, I'm there. Why am I overthinking stuff? I was just like, that's it, I'm out of here. And I just stood up and walked away. And I could have probably sat there and milked my hot seat for another 10, 15 minutes, but I was just like, no, that's it.
Okay, so how did your life change after this? Or how did you feel any, I don't know, maybe a vibrational change, maybe something that you realized that you haven't heard before? I mean, of course, we've heard the things before, but maybe you just didn't realize it before. Was anything?
I'm sorry. Immediately, I was relieved because I've been feeling very overwhelmed and exhilarated that whole weekend, meeting so many people and having a premonition that I was going to get called up. There's an instant feeling of relief, and things are still going the same way, and it's kind of not the how is not going exactly how I thought, but I'm just thinking of, like, if I just remind myself, I was called up out of all the people there at near the end, like I desired. It's affirming to me, like, yes, I am doing very well at being an intentional creator and being very intentional with my feelings and my thoughts, and like, I'm kicking ass at this. That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Really nice. Okay, now Kent, tell me, maybe if you have something to say about the question that you had, and well, the same. Was there anything that changed for you in the last couple of days?
Energy-wise, I can say that it just felt extremely nice. We got to the airport to be flying home, and the queue to the security part of the airport that we needed to go through before we went to the airplane was extremely long. It was 3 hours before we could get to security, and my friend Ida and I were just having a great time. We were dancing and we were singing and we were everything, spreading a lot of love in that queue. It was so nice, and we got to spend the night in the airport.
Wow.
Because I know that there were some problems. There were some canceling flights.
Yeah, some strikes and stuff like that. Yeah, but I had two questions. Abraham was talking about a little earlier about let's see. I don't know if I should make this. They were talking about if you go on the street and you see if you see some person bleeding or something.
Bleeding, yeah.
Then you would go and help that person to get well. And what they were saying was that even an angry person or a person with some problems or stuff like that, you would need your help just as much as the one who's actually bleeding. So I was a little inspired by that, and therefore I raised my hand just to find out what you actually would be able to do to help such a person. And I was a little blown away by the answer, because they didn't answer that directly. It was just it was a question of you being able to change your vibration so that you don't rendezvous with those people who has those problems.
Yeah.
And that's a fair point, I would say. So and the other one
Absolutely.
was the other one very shortly was about death. They are talking much about death, and I was just wondering how if it would feel like home when you actually make your transition to the non-physical. If you are aware that it's actually what has happened when you go to the other side. And so actually, as many of you pointed out, I'm not very sure what the answer was, because I was completely blissed out there as well, and I think I need to listen to the recording when it comes out, and I'm looking very much forward to that, to listen to it again.
Yeah, me too.
So,
Me too.
But yeah.
Thank you, Kent.
Thank you.
Jan, let's hear from you.
And high five, like always.
Yeah. It's so great. I love that high five.
What was your question, Jan?
You
had a lot of questions.
Yes, and it kind of it was a process of being structured to letting go, and as you noticed, ended in the best way, since I asked for a certificate to being able to channel with Esther, which is like, for me, a dream come true. So it was like the ultimate experience, of course.
Yeah.
Being able to be present with her in the receptive mode, and like she's calling it, and we had a very special connection. Like, you heard the voices, but we are much more connected than words. And it was intense in the best possible way. Yes.
Very good. Wow.
Okay, so how is your life, Jan? Did anything change for you?
Of course. I mean, it was great before, and it's greater since then. A lot of serendipities, or like Carl Gustav Jung called it, synchronicity.
Synchronicity, yeah.
I love both words, since they are like meaningful in terms of life depends on so much small details, and if you adjust the right way, all the details will find to you, and you will find the details, and so it works out, and it's amazing since then, even more amazing. It's phenomenal.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's jump to Alice. Alice, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you all.
Okay. What
Thanks.
was your question to Abraham?
Well, the first thing I wanted to do was really thank Abraham for the teachings, because I really applied that at the end of 2019 to manifest a lover, to manifest the love of my life, maybe, or at least someone that felt like that. And I did in a really short time, like with one inspired action. And and my other half did actually the same at this more or less the same time. So we really found each other. So I wanted to thank Abraham for that experience. And in the hot seat, I had actually heard two people ask before that sometimes they weren't feeling able to connect to their guidance system. So what do you do when you are sort of empty? You don't feel emotions. And Abraham said that you do feel, you always know your emotions. So she put up the emotional scale and started, get a topic. What is one of the big topics where you sometimes don't know what to do because you don't know what you feel? And that was about having a new relationship and also having children and feeling torn in wanting to be really with your lover and then feeling that you are not doing enough for your children. So that was the main thing we talked about. And I'm really happy to hear that a lot of you have forgotten a lot of what they said. Because I was actually, my lover heard a lot of things that she thought were really important that were bothering her in our relationship and also in my dealing with the kids and her dealing with the kids, with my kids. And she was really sort of angry that there were so many important messages and you didn't even write them down. You made a lot of notes and you didn't write anything on your own talk to Abraham. And I was like, well, I think everything is in here because just like you, I really felt this energy tuning into me and I just surrendered to it. And I actually had another question that I still have. And when she asked anything more, I said no. And when I was in my chair, I was like, I actually have another question.
Yeah.
But that was, yeah, it was okay. But there was a lot in there and I definitely felt it. And I definitely felt my emotion rise while she helped me to go through that emotional scale. And yeah, that was really special because I felt relief. Even though I wasn't aware that that was going to be the topic because I didn't think that I was really in guilt still in that situation. I thought I'd solved that. But when I felt the relief when she started, when Abraham started talking about it, then I knew, okay, there was still something there, but then there was relief. And I've actually been able to, I feel much stronger and much more stable in my vibration since I've been there because that sensation was, I've also deliberately practiced it afterwards to get back into that feeling, into that wholeness, into that feeling one with a broader energy. And I still managed to get there and get the shivers sort of that enormous feeling. But on the other hand, it's so comforting. So
yeah, right. This is something exactly what I was trying to do, to remember as much as possible and to just tune to the same energy, because it's like, I don't know, it was like I haven't felt like that before. I mean, it was such a confirmation that I'm on the right path, and that I can let this energy in, and then everything is right and everything is perfect, and I feel so solid and just in a way complete, even though I know we will never be complete and we will always want more. But for now, I feel complete.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, Dina, you are next, my dear.
Hello. Okay, so the first question was about how my
About your-
life. Oh, my question.
Your question, but you
Yes.
can answer however you want.
So my question it's happened the same, and it's pretty much what everybody's talking about. In the moment, it feels like exactly the thing you want to talk about, and then I forget so much. I bought the recordings because I'm like, what did I talk about, maybe? I don't remember. I know it was about worthiness, and I know it was about stop pushing against ourselves. And I know that then they carried on using those topics throughout the first day and mentioning worthiness and talking to me, but I don't really remember the core of what was said, other than to not push against ourselves. That's pretty much it. The second question was how my life changed, right?
Yes.
I always find that after a hot seat, there's this period where absolute bliss, explosion after explosion of amazing synchronicities, and anything that has been like building up is like comes out. Anything I'm ready for is like ding, 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 ding. And I'm like, yep. And it's almost like a little bit of exhaustion after, because it's almost like it was like contained, and then that last bit of resistance is gone, and my inner being is like, this is it. Anything she's ready for, she's getting right now. So even like so my path of least resistance when flying back was, of course, I have the easiest time ever. So I did see the 3-hour, pretty much like snake queue. And then I look at my ticket and it was fast track and it was perfect. So even on fast track, it was supposed to be longer, but I ended up going in a queue. There was like 5 people in front of me. So I was like straight in. And then I didn't have a mask. And I was pretty much like, the lady's like, oh, I'm sorry, like without a mask, you can't come. So you have to go all the way back and buy one. And then the lady in front of me goes, this is so ridiculous. Here's a mask. And I was just sitting there, like, probably took me 20 minutes to go through all of that. And I was like, yeah, this sounds nice. This is absolutely perfect. So yeah, so I took me 20 minutes to do the whole thing. And I had the mask at the end. And even the lady was kind of like, no, you have to go back. And the lady's like, no, this is ridiculous. Here's a mask for you. And I was just like, perfection. So yeah, so after that.
Because things are always working out.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I knew that my
always
path of least resistance was that. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about anything. It's done, and it was done, and it was perfect. After that blissing out period, I did find that there was a period of like adjustment. Anything that didn't feel in that same frequency, I became more aware of, which I kind of already knew, and I don't like, because I'm like, yep, there it is. I can't ignore it anymore. And that was something that happened for a few days. And for example, for me, what came up was that anytime that something calls my attention, because I'm living happily ever after, whenever there's something that feels like focus and excitement, I go completely out of balance. That's all I think about. I don't do anything else. It's like my next target is to feel normal about that instead of just enjoying the whole journey. And I noticed that with my funny videos, and I'm like, I wasn't sleeping. I was waking up with ideas. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't think I want to do that like this anymore. Let's have some fun. And I spoke to Andrea, and she's my sweetheart that helped me to soothe that feeling of urgency into the feeling of let me enjoy the unfolding of it as much as I can. And now I'm back to being happy ever after. Yay!
You look very happy. You look very happy.
I am. I'm on holiday again. I actually, so once I like had my wobble moment, I then worked one day, and it was an amazing day. It was a transformation, and we hugged and we cried at the end. And then I realized that I was back on holiday, and I was like, yeah, I think life is going pretty well. Let me chill. That's what Abraham told me. Let me chill. They did tell me to chill. So yeah, I was like, actually, no, this is okay. I am gonna chill. And that's
a
it.
good answer. Chill.
Yeah, just chill.
Yeah, exactly. Let go.
How perfect is that? And how long will you? I mean, you're in vacation right now.
Yeah.
When are you going home then?
Next Saturday.
Where are you?
I'm in Portugal. Yeah, I came to
In the
see
sunny
my mom.
Portugal.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're staying at a beautiful hotel by the beach, and it's like mwah, perfection. Everything is beautiful. There's beauty everywhere, nice people everywhere, amazing views everywhere, little adventures. It's like mwah, just what I like in a being. More,
Brilliant.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a perfect state after Abraham seminar.
Yeah.
To enjoy life and feel good.
Dina, just want to add, I'm so thankful that you say it, because I also skipped the queue. Like I saw the queue and people running like that, and I saw, no way. I know, I just can't. And I skipped it just. So people started skipping it and didn't follow me. So it wasn't just like, it's made for people who don't question the system.
Yeah.
We did not skip
It's
it.
absolute perfection.
We
To
did
be
not
fair,
skip it. We
I
had a
did
good
have fast
time.
track, so I wasn't that much of a rebel.
Yeah,
But noticing that I had fast track was like, ping,
exactly.
you know, just
Yeah.
perfect timing. Although that is pretty, that's also another way, right? If you have no resistance, no one will stop you, no one will question. They see you go and they think you should. It's like, off
That's
they
right.
go. Which is,
That's right.
works too, and it's cheaper. That's it.
Yeah, I found that I decided this time, this was my third Abraham. I went to one in Rome and one in upstate New York. And this time I decided I wanted to have fun. I really wanted the journey to be really easy and the cash flow to be easy. And I realized when it was in Amsterdam, I suddenly had this light bulb moment when we were on our aid group that I could catch the ferry and that I could cycle. And I just thought, oh, that's so great. And I booked the ferry in March before I had a ticket, but I knew I'd get a ticket. And it just was so great. And the whole thing was, I realized I'd manifested a mini cruise for myself, because I've wanted to go on an Abraham cruise. And it feels like I was a week on the boat, because it was just so easy. And it was brilliant coming back, because again, you know, as I was leaving the dining room for breakfast, the queues were massive and they were running out of everything. But when I was there, I just had plenty of room and table and able to pick everything. And on the way back, this is the sunset from on the boat on the way to Amsterdam that I have behind me. But on the way back, it was really misty and rainy. So I was talking to people, which was great. But then I discovered a little covered observation area with a big set of binoculars. And when we came back to port, I was able to see from a different perspective my home. And it was just so incredible seeing it. And it just felt like it's seeing it from another perspective through vibrational eyes as well as physical eyes. It was just amazing. And I was just, when I went to get my bike at the end, one of the guys just said, oh yes, I heard you saying, because I was just squealing with delight through these binoculars. Oh, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so. And it was just absolutely brilliant. I just met all the right people. And the bike journey on the way there, I was like a rabbit in headlights getting on the boat. And I didn't even notice what deck my bike was on. But people were coming up to me and telling me, saying, yours is the blue bike with the butterflies, and telling me where to go. It was just great. And as I arrived, it was raining. So I decided to cycle along to the arts centre that I loved going to see if the cafe had reopened, and it had. And the director came up to me and sat down, and I haven't seen him since before lockdown. And we got talking, and he said, I've got an interview with the Financial Times. They're coming up from London to our tiny little town for an update on the economic situation in the Northeast. And I told him about the dance performance group I'm in. And so I've put together him with my dance teacher. And that was just, one of those meetings that, again, it was serendipity. And my mum, the next day, my brother rang to say my mum had gone into hospital and the doctor didn't think she'd be coming out. And I was so thrilled. And I was just saying, thank you, Mum, for waiting till I got home. And thank you, Mum. I hope this is going to be easy for you. And we weren't allowed to visit. But today they've said that she's much better, and they're discharging her back to the home she's in. So it's been really easy for me coming back. I've been able to have this time for myself instead of dashing off to see my mum. And it's felt really good to do that.
Lovely.
Great. Thank you for sharing this with us. Really, I mean, it's like the path is lighting up in front of us, and I don't know, just one thing leads to the other, and I don't know. At the end, everything is unfolding perfectly. Excuse me. Max, I think that you are the one who
I am the one.
will tell us how did your life change, or
Wow.
what
Yeah.
happened to you?
Yeah.
What happened to you after?
Something really powerful, because few days before the workshop, I was thinking that I had some little extra money this month, and I wanted to have a little vacation. Usually I have my vacation only to go and see my children. Some of them are in Italy and some of them are in Spain. So I have to choose only between these two. And I said, I want to do something different. I want to go where, and I said, look, in life, sometimes we start a circle, a round thing. It's like we start a situation, okay? Let's call it like this. We start a situation, and then we feel that the situation is incomplete. We have to close it. We have to close the circle. You have to close the circle. And I was thinking about Denmark, because I used to live in Denmark for 7 years, long time, and my son was born there in a beautiful little villa that we rent, a community. I had a really great time there in Copenhagen and all Denmark. I had the restaurant. It was like, but then I haven't seen some friends that I really loved. And I said, you know what, after the workshop, I take 1 day for a break, for rest, and then I go to Copenhagen. So I booked the flight for Copenhagen, and then 1 day after, I was still exhausted by the workshop, completely exhausted, but I still, okay, let's go to Copenhagen. And then it was incredible, the experience I had, because I really closed the circle. I really closed the situation. I really closed what it was still open. So I went to see the house where my son was born. I went to see Klappenborg beach, which I used to spend all the summer where I could. And then the weather was so terrible. Then I said, well, Amsterdam is a little bit better, you know, and then there is my home. I feel comfortable. And then I was supposed to come back the 1st of June. I came back after 3 days. I did what I had to do. I saw who I wanted to see. And it was like, it was contrast. And then from the contrast, I had the desire that I really understood what I didn't want, even in a soulmate, and what I really wanted to experience, in a person, and it was incredible, very enlightening. So I came back. I met some angels in the airport in Copenhagen. People, they helped me with there was a strike, so the flight was supposed to come back to Amsterdam at 9 o'clock. I came back home at midnight, but it was so beautiful in a way. So strong, really. So now I feel like I can move forward in my life. Forget about the past. The past is gone. Now we have the present and the future in front of me. And that Abraham really helped with this workshop. I felt like I've been put in a washing machine. I was in a washing machine, and she put all the programs, so that I came out like a little bit wow, a little bit wasted, but really clear inside. That's it. That's my experience.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, quite clear inside.
Yeah.
It's just, well, thank you so much for joining me. I don't have any questions, but I would love to hear anything that you would like to add to anything that we talked, or I don't know, maybe something that was left out.
I'm just feeling very similar to the workshop, the same way, having the meeting and listening to everyone and what they had to say. It feels very similar.
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I'm just completely blissed out right now. Just so nice. So nice.
That's good. That's very good. That's the purpose of life, to be blissed out, to be happy. Joy, 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 joy.
Exactly. Joy, joy, joy. That's so nice.
Really,
Okay.
it was a really nice time to remember
amazing.
this. I think we should do this more often.
Yes.
Yes.
I totally agree.
Okay. I want to remind everybody what Esther came back on the stage and said that she felt that compared to the 2019, she felt much more concentration, much more energy. She felt that we were, like, I don't know how to say, evolved even more. She felt the evolution. She felt something like that. I felt all the people sitting here, they are, compared to 2 years ago, there is a big evolution. There's a big evolution in energy, in feelings, in wow. And I felt exactly like that. I felt that we evolve a lot in this. I mean, at least in my life, I got rid of a lot of bullshit that I was trying to get rid. But the workshop was like, wow, was really a step forward into clarity, into beautiful.
The leading edge.
Leading edge, exactly. So and Kent, you are from Denmark, right?
I'm from Denmark, yeah, I am. Not from Copenhagen, but from Jutland.
Oh, okay, I was there.
Fredericia and Jutland.
Yeah, I was there a few days now, and it felt really good.
Denmark is a great place.
Yeah,
I'll be in Denmark 3 times this year.
Okay.
I've manifested a really nice course in veterinary acupuncture that has 3 times 4 days in the Netherlands and 3 times 4 days in Denmark. So
wow, beautiful.
Okay, very nice.
Okay,
it's gonna be great. Pardon?
For animals?
Yes, I've done the human course already in 2005, but I'm a veterinarian. And I've worked with horses as a practitioner, but I don't want to be in practice anymore. And I've worked in the corporate environment for the last 17 years, I think. And I just stepped out. I created my own consultancy business, and I'm doing both some corporate work and also starting up an online coaching program. And I'm going to do some veterinary acupuncture with horses and dogs, probably in the future as well. So things are really coming together for me as well. It's really great. I feel so confident that things are going to work out. I don't know where that has come from, but that is really from Abraham, not just since the workshop, but also before. And the workshop has just really made me more confident.
It's coming from you. It's not coming from Abraham. It's coming
No,
from...
no, I know, but it's coming from my source and my connection to source. The connection that I felt with Abraham also made me feel much more stronger connected to my higher self. And that is, I think, the biggest gift that you get from sitting in the hot seat, that you really get so much confirmed on that connection. That is just amazing.
Things are always working out for you.
Things are always working out for us.
Even though it doesn't seem like it at the moment.
Life is supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
Yes.
Precisely. Take time to laugh and play every day.
Joy is the key.
It's funny how other people always tell that, it's just a coincidence that this happened to you or this happened to you. I said, no.
There is no such
never
thing
a
as coincidences.
coincidence.
No.
Synchronicity.
Exactly.
Very nice.
But,
you are attracting the way. You're attracting everything to you.
Exactly. Well, we know that. We know that.
We all know that. So, but one thing I've been thinking about. I don't know. I don't remember who mentioned something, but that made me think of a quote. If you change the way you look at circumstances, the circumstances you look at will
change.
Wayne Dyer.
Is it Wayne Dyer? Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
That is so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
So if you have the same circumstances if you have some circumstances before you go to an Abraham event, and the circumstances doesn't change in the meantime, when you get home and the circumstances is the same, when you have changed yourself and you look at those circumstances in another way, then they will just change for you without you even doing anything. That's extremely powerful. I really love that.
I think that's one of the things that that's very connected to segment intending, which I think really, really works for me as well. Sometimes I forget it, and then I'm in a place or in a meeting and I'm like, I should have been segment intending. Because once it has a certain momentum, you can still do your focusing and you can still change the way you feel about the situation, but then things are running. And if you really get into a certain feeling that you want to feel when you go somewhere, then it's always right.
It was, for me, it was also an inspired action to go to Denmark, because I woke up in the morning and said, okay, I'm going to Denmark. And then my kids said, why are you going to Denmark? Oh, I don't know. I just feel that I need to close something there. And it was really an inspired action. And then after the workshop, I was even thinking to cancel my flight. And then I said, no, I don't want to, I want to close that circle. And it was like, wow. And also, there was also the experience when I was sitting in front of Abraham. That's why I don't remember anything or very little, because we look in each other's eyes for the whole time. And it was like having a laser going into me and cleaning up. It was like she looked into my eyes, I looked into her eyes, and it was like, whoa. It was like I was in another dimension. You know, when everything was finished, I had to stand up and go. I was like, where am I? What is this planet? You know, I was completely blown out. Completely. I never experienced so strong in that sense.
No, it was very, very powerful. I agree.
Very powerful. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I realized that I wanted to ask, I only ever noticed Esther's face. Was she barefoot?
Yeah. No,
Right.
she had socks on, but
Right.
but not shoes.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that when I sat in the chair.
She had socks on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, she had.
I thought she was not wearing. I'm sure I didn't see shoes, but I wasn't sure if it was barefoot because I didn't want to look down.
Yeah, okay.
But it did cross my mind. But I didn't
wanna
see shoes
okay.
for sure. So it was either socks or.
Actually, she hasn't been wearing shoes during her workshops. I think it was in one of the recordings. They said that energy is moving better if she's barefoot. So that is why she never wears any shoes during the workshop.
That's what I'd understood, and I realized I hadn't noticed. I was so busy looking at her face.
Yeah, because it was a thing when I started doing my animations, and when I created a character, I created it without shoes, and everybody was asking, why no shoes? Why no shoes? I said, Esther doesn't wear any shoes, so it makes sense.
The animation reminded me, because I noticed it. I was listening to a couple this morning that were great, and I thought, oh, Andrea's drawn her without shoes, so.
Yeah.
It's also funny since it's another synchronicity there. I started like giving workshops, and I wear like tailor-made suits. And in the years, I eased up in the way until now. I just wear simple black. And I also gave like 2 years ago my first workshops without shoes.
Yeah,
it's so funny. And one feeling I just need to add, which is very strong concerning the workshop, is just being so thankful for everything, for every single soul which I see now here, which we don't see but feel. It was so intense to feel and meet all the great characters of life and to experience their way of experience it. Just great.
I love the energy. I really, really, really do love the energy. And I love the fact that everyone that you're looking at, everyone in the house, in the room, knows about Abraham, and you don't need to explain anything. You don't need to make some kind of cover-up story and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
I really love that. And I'm very sure that my coming girlfriend would be an Abrahamster. I'm very sure that she is.
Yeah.
And I want her to be, because it's a very, very huge part of me, and I just want to share it with my coming
it's
girlfriend.
coming, Kent.
I know.
They're coming. They're coming.
Please, the word Abrahamster. I think
it's a great word.
Much more important, she's a Kentster.
She's a Kentster. Oh, thank you.
I think in America they say Aber. There was an American in the hot seat as well that had someone come at her doorstep. I remember, and they really connected, but she didn't want to buy the service or something. And then when she walked away, she was like, "Oh, I want to meet this person. She was so wonderful." And she came back and she said, "Are you an Aber?" I was like, "I don't like Aber."
An Aber?
But anyway, the connection was really fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much again. And I am really eager to see you all again. You know, I Esther said that there will be a workshop next year in Amsterdam,
Yeah.
and I would definitely be there. And I'm
Me
looking
too.
forward to meeting
Yeah.
each and one of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for,
If,
for me, it's a big challenge, because if Abraham comes here in the same place, which is 5 minutes walk from my home, I'm obliged to go there. You know what I mean? It's like, how can,
Oh,
how can I
you
have,
will do
Do
the
we feel sorry for
sacrifice.
you, Max?
yeah, I mean, how can
Yeah.
We will
how
see
can I
us.
have Abraham a 5 minutes walk from me without going to see her? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a nonsense. So I'm already putting money aside to go to the next one.
We will see us all in the hot seats.
And yeah, and
But-
also that is for me incredible, because the intention the first time was very strong, and this time I was almost sure that I was going to go there on the hot seat. So I really did. Yeah, the intention was in another form, but still very, very strong. You know, and this time I had some questions, but I don't remember my questions, and I don't remember the answer that she gave. You know, I remember nothing. You know, so I'm. That's really funny. That's really funny. Okay.
So one
Great, we
more,
have the recording. So
one
Yeah.
more word, Andrea. Thank you so much for putting all of us together here.
Yes.
Yeah.
very welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Thank
I-
you so much
I
for
really
being here.
appreciate it.
I'm really honored.
And thank you
very
for the
much,
virtual
and-
hug.
Yeah. Dina, you are so
Yes.
quiet.
Well, you know, I love you very much. Thank you so much. You
Ciao.
are amazing.
You're such a
Vicky.
special friend.
We
Okay,
all
bye.
are.
Next time.
Okay.
Mwah.
See
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.
Bye.
And maybe we will
Bye.
get together soon.
Great.
Bye.
I would
Thank
love
you.
that.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Mhm.
Bye bye.